my next question for you guys is really, could you talk a little bit about the design and planning of how to create these 5-star mobile experiences? Specifically, for example, how do you identify those mobile opportunities?
So I'll start with that. Essentially, it goes back to the notion of understanding your customer, your end user. So you've got to get them involved in the early concept stages. Also as well, it's about a technique, which is a simple technique to use. It's about actually pulling out the customer journey. So diagramming that customer journey. So actually saying, okay, well, what stages does a customer go through when they're engaging with our organization? And then start to understand how long does each stage take. Because ultimately, mobile is about enhancing that experience, enhancing the kind of speed of interaction. And so you want to identify great kind of mobile opportunities there. For me, from a performance management perspective, those are kind of moments of truth for me. You've got to be ensuring that you're kind of performance managing or monitoring those kind of areas kind of well. But taking that back to the top level, it's about drawing out that customer journey, identifying those kind of areas which mobile or mobile app kind of makes sense to enhance that experience.
Yeah, the other thing that you have to always keep in mind with mobile is that the amount of attention and the engagement that you have of the user is very different. People use their phones for very short amounts of time regularly, and you want them to keep coming back to your app and using it. And it's not about sitting down and using your computer for 30 minutes. It's about 30 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes if you're lucky, but repeatedly over the day. And that gives you the ability to re-impress your brand and your product and what you do through that app on the device. But you also don't want to annoy the user. Yep. And performance is one thing that can definitely annoy users. Having things not work, integrations that fail. It's important to have the right level of testing, have the right level of understanding of availability of third-party services and integration points, and understanding, of course, the end user experience as they interact with that app and as they interact with your brand.
When I've talked to some of my mobile customers in the past, I've often referred to them, about a POST framework. Yep. And POST framework, and I think it comes from one of you guys, Forrester or Gartner. And fundamentally, right, it's about understanding your persona. Yep. Who are you selling to? Who is the user of this app? Is it a housewife? Is it a consumer? Is it an enterprise employee? It's about understanding the objective of this mobile app. What are you trying to do with this mobile app? Are you getting them to interact, engage, just read, or perhaps read and update at the same time? What's the strategy around this mobile app? Is this something that's going to be available for a short period of time? Is this something that you plan to build over many years, and you got many cycles to iterate upon this? And then lastly, and perhaps the least important, but yet it becomes important in the grand scheme of things, it's around technology. What choices are you going to make out here? Are you going to go with native? Are you going to go with hybrid, or HTML5 and all those other technology choices? But technology has to be the last element of this puzzle. You have to understand your persona, you got to understand your objective and your strategy first.
Exactly. You've got to take what we would term an outside-in view rather than an inside-out. There's a tendency, especially within the technology world, we like technology. We're all kind of engineers and we get excited about technology. But the reality is you've got to start off with that persona and that customer. And ultimately, with any mobile app, it's about satisfying need at speed.
And you have to remember, too, that users are going to engage on multiple platforms, multiple channels. So they're going to be using your product, your whatever it happens to be, on their computers, on their mobile devices, on their tablets. And it's important for you to understand which of those personas make the most sense for certain things that you're trying to do with your business. So if you have a complicated, heavy enterprise web app, you may want a very lightweight app for the mobile, the mobile phone, and possibly something in between that may give more of an experience on a tablet where you have that real estate the user's typically a little bit more engaged than they are on their phone, where they're running between meetings or trying to catch a flight or whatever it happens to be. So it's really about that bigger picture view versus saying, this is our mobile, this is our enterprise web app. It's, you know, it's really understanding all of the engagement and touch points there.
Yeah, so it's really, if I can try and summarize, it's about understanding what that mobile moment is, what is the user trying to accomplish, you know, in that time frame, because you've got that very limited amount of engagement where you can really, and then delivering against the performance of that, or the performance delivers against that mobile moment.
But it's really all of the channels together and understanding the user and how they engage with you. It's not just mobile, it's not just web, it's not just the enterprise app. It's all of that together and having consistency and having experience where the user doesn't see something completely different on one device versus another. You need that consistency.
And it goes back to the fact that whether you're talking about a web app, whether you're talking about a mobile app, all of this reflects your business, your brand. And so that's kind of what's critically important here. And again, I wanted to go back to this really important aspect of kind of speed, because when it comes to mobile, if your customer takes out their smartphone from their pocket, taps the mobile application, and that's not going to perform, it's not performing well, it's slow, you're not going to have another chance. Look at the app markets. They're full of different applications, all trying to satisfy and grab the attention of your customers. So it has to be done at speed, and so you only have one chance at this.